Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. Now, of course, Valentine's Day is a day all about celebrating love. And I can't think of a better organization than Sheroes United that is literally about spreading the message of love through the empowerment and support of women. And I am thrilled to be joined by its founder, Celeste Gleave, and Executive Director, Bridget Cook-Burch. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Eliza.
Morning. So before we talk about Sheroes United, I want to talk a little bit about how the two of you came to be together in this passion project. We were talking a little bit before we came on camera about your military background as a retired, and everyone keeps saying that you are a 3-star general, but please tell people what your background is with the Joint Chiefs.
Well, I'll be very humble about this, but I had worked as a civic leader with the Air Force, and the Joint Chiefs of Staff were looking for someone that was compatible, that knew the ins and outs of the military, and I was vetted to work with the civilians, the spouses, and the military to sit alongside the Joint Chiefs at the Pentagon. And that was a position that was very coveted. I enjoyed it very much. And then I also worked alongside MAGCOM Warner Robins as the honorary Air Force civic leader as well. So I was dual-hatted.
You're dual-hatted.
Dual-hatted.
So with some quite major responsibilities.
Yes, yes. Basically a bridge between the military and the civilian families, and they're the spouses, and working with the families and working with the military to create harmony within the communities.
And Bridget, you are a New York Times and Wall Street Journal best-selling author, featured on OWN, on People. What about the SheROs project appealed to you so much to want to get involved?
Well, there was a group of us as businesswomen in Utah, and we noticed so many women going through issues, having issues with domestic violence, having been sexually assaulted, dealing with the shame and the grief, and not having any resources, nowhere to go, no one to talk to, and also that shame was permeating so much, and several of us had been through one form of violence or another, and we came together and we said, you know, it's time for women to be able to have a voice, to be able to rise, and not combatively. We're not like these kick down the door feminists. We recognize that women have these innate and beautiful qualities, and so do men, and so we love to work together. That's why we have SheROs, and we have a whole select group of men that started SheROs Heroes to be able to come together. And what intrigued me about it was the celebration of the feminine spirit. You know, so many areas of life we just hunker down and do what we can to survive, and this is about own your story, own your voice, own your past, be a light to others and a contribution to the community.
Well, and Celeste, I have to say, especially right now, we see so many examples of people separating themselves, sort of tearing each other down in different ways, and your message was really dare to change the world through love.
Correct.
And your background in the government, in the military, I assume, especially at the time, it was very much sort of a boys' club and maybe more focused on the male gender of this. What about that said to you, okay, this is an organization that needs to exist in the world for women?
Well, there's a lot of things that how I could answer that, but the bottom line is that there's so much going on and so much division that no matter what we do, in anything we do, there's always going to be a 50-50 chance. You're going to make 50% of the people happy and 50% of them unhappy. And it boils down to how do you want to live your life? Do you want to live it in harmony, in peace, or do you want to choose to live it in turmoil and into hate? And I want to bring up the fact that in business as well, Bridget and I are both business owners, and we both are in predominantly male-owned businesses. And we see a lot of the women that have these stories and that have overcome these tremendous obstacles, but they've been isolated and they've had no one to talk to, and when they do talk to people, they find themselves in a place that's unsafe. We created Sheroes United as a safe place, a safe landing place for women to come that had like stories. So a group of business women got together, and that's how we originally started. Was 6 or 7 of us got together and sat down and told our stories and said, you know, if we could only all get along like this and feel the love and be in harmony and love each other for what we've been through and feel compassion and that really opened up all of our eyes, because the biggest thing is that we all realized that there were a lot of women out there that were still acting in that predominantly mean, defensive type atmosphere. And what we chose to do was be examples of how we fly above that, and to, if someone says something to us in a negative way, we choose to be very positive and to not react, and just to come from compassion and to understand that she probably has a reason for acting like that, or there's obviously a backstory to that. And so we're very understanding, and we come from a place from our heart. We really believe that if we come from our heart, that love will prevail.
That's lovely. And I think so often with women too, it's set up to be more competitive than supportive, more destructive than supportive. But I think the power of sharing stories and having that Me Too moment and that level of communication can just build all kinds of bridges between people that they may not have even known existed.
Absolutely.
And that's really, I love that message of Dare to Change the World with Love. Well, tell us about the event today for people that want to come and support and see you guys in action.
Okay, awesome. So the DARE part is dignity, action, respect, and education. So that's what we stand for. So today we're going to be meeting at the Salt Lake City Library downtown, and we're going to have an event that talks a lot about SheROs, our 3 different pillars about abolishing human trafficking, eradicating domestic violence and any sexual violence and forms of violence against women, and also supporting our women warriors. And then at 12 o'clock noon, we're going out
Look at how excited you are.
Library Square to do our flash mob dance. And so everyone in the public is invited to come out. You don't have to be a dancer.
This is not a classically trained organization.
Not even close. This is about the glorious and victorious feminine spirit, and it's about men who love them as well. And so we have women and men and children that come out, and they just do their thing. We just have
SheROs
a
and
good
heroes
time.
and little ones too. SheROs in the making.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and can I just point out
Absolutely.
too that this is an event that was originated about 6 years ago. So the name of it, 1 Billion Rising, is literally a movement. Today, on Valentine's Day, literally in every country, every city, every village across the globe, the women and a lot of men and children will do the same dance, the same moves to the same song, and at the same time, and we rise together. And it is literally a 1 billion person rising. So Utah, Sheroes United, we host an event every year to combine our hearts with the rest of the world. And so today you will literally feel the earth shaking with people dancing and their feet stomping to stop the violence.
Celeste, Bridget, thank you so much for being here today. That's a perfect way to end it. I hope you were able to get down to Salt Lake and support SheROs. Dare to change the world through love. I can't think of a better message for Valentine's Day, and make sure you go online, visit their website, and see how you can get involved and spread their message as well. We're going to take a break here on the Mountain Morning Show and be back with much more right here on Park City Television.